All right, let's keep moving along with a new family of letters. And in this family, we have M, N, X, and V. And these letters all feature a common element and a new element that we haven't talked about before. And this is a combo between an overturn and an underturn. So it's an overturn that goes directly into an underturn. And I'll get just a blank page out here to show this to you. We know our overturn goes like this over the connective slant. Here's our connective slant. And then let's imagine we're going into just a straight, turn into a straight downstroke on our main slant, and then directly into an underturn, like that, which we call underturn because it goes under that connective slant. All right, so we have our main slant here. There are our slant lines, and without the red and the black, it looks like this. So we can call that an over-under combo because it's the overturn going right into, after a downstroke, into a underturn. All right, and we're seeing this element over and over again in these 4 letters. In the M, you have it here at the end of the letter. In the N, again at the end of the letter here. The X, the whole body of the X is this over-under combo. And in the V, you have it here. You have a slightly modified version of it. Really just like a W, like the ending of a W, instead of that true underturn on the connective slant. It's a little steeper. We've talked about that before with the W, and we'll definitely take a closer look at that when we get to the V. All right, so that's how all 4 of these letters work together as a group. And we'll look at the M first. And the M is really just a series. It's two overturns followed by that over-under combo. And I'll do a big one first. We have our overturn first, leading into the letter, coming down on the main slant. Another overturn coming down on the main slant. It's good to stop here because ideally, these 2 strokes, this first one and this second one, are exactly the same. That's what we're going for when we make this M. And then we have this last over-under combo. So we go again, and up until this point, we want it to be identical to the previous 2 strokes, but we have this little turn at the bottom into our underturn. All right, that is the M. I will do it at normal sizing here from the baseline to our X height. Overturn, 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 comboing into the underturn, okay? And as you can hopefully already see, all these downstrokes, we want them to be on the same slant. And then all of our overturns, we want to be on the same connective slant. And we want this exit underturn to be on that same connective slant as well, okay? That is the M. The N is the same exact thing, but actually just a shorter letter. I'll do it big first, overturn, and then we go right into that overturn, underturn combo, like that. Hopefully you can see, same thing with this letter, these 2 downstrokes on that main slant, and then our overturns and our underturn should all be on that connective slant, okay? Do it at regular size one more time so you can see it. Overturn to downstroke, overturn to downstroke, combo into that underturn. There's the N. All right, and just like the bottom of these turns, we talk about the I, and we don't want to have this loopy I like this. We don't want to have a loopy N or an M either. We don't want to have a rounded M like this. Okay. If you want to write a vertical hand like that, you can, but right now we're learning this hand at this 60-degree main slant, and we want to keep our slant lines consistent. So it means we're pulling these tight turns at the top, just like we pull them at the bottom here. Notice how this turn This turn at the top is just as tight as this turn at the bottom. Look at the symmetry there in that part of the letter. All right. And really just more continuation of that same move with the X. I'll do it big. We do our overturn to underturn combo. And then we just throw a crossbar on this X on our connective slant, okay? So with this, we have our connective slant here, connective slant here, connective slant there, all right? And if you keep all three of these on the same connective slant, you're gonna have a nice looking, well-spaced, well-sized letter that fits in with the rest of this script. I'll do it at regular size, overturn, combo into the underturn, and then throw that crossbar on the connective slant, okay? That's how you do the X. And now for the V, I'll do it big again, overturn into the downstroke, and we're gonna do our combo into the underturn, but it's gonna be a steeper underturn, okay? And then we exit with our exit from the top, like we've done with our W. And then the big difference here, the subtle difference here, is that we're working with some different angles on the overturn than the underturn, okay? See how this one is just a little bit steeper coming up than the overturn entering into the letter was, okay? And maybe this was actually a little, that's not really on our slant. That's probably a little steep. Let me do it again. Nice and big. Really come down on our main slant and then come up. Now that one was a little narrow. Not what we're looking for either, but I'm just getting a little steep with these connective strokes. Okay. And that's because I'm working at such a big size and I'm trying to keep this letter compact when it's actually a pretty wide letter. So let me think about being a little wider here, really being on our connective slant. There we go. Down on our main slant, and then exit on that slightly steeper slant. All right, that's looking better. There's that connective slant. There's that main slant. And then now we're coming a little bit steeper on that one as well. All right. That is the V. I'll do it once at regular size. And I can do it a lot easier at that size. A lot better proportions here. Probably much easier to see the difference in these two slants when I do it that way. So that is the V. All right, let's do some connections with these letters, our new letters. We got a few words here, 4 words. We'll start with a very common word, in, that you'll write a lot when you write in cursive. Just doing our I, which brush up on an I into a compound curve to enter into that N, and then we do our combo out and dot the I. Note that compound curve there is very subtle. Transition from that I to the N. Always we can check our slant lines. Looking pretty good. Check our connective slants at the beginning and ending. Those are looking good. It's a pretty well done word there. In. All right, let's do mine. M-I-N-E. M, overturn, overturn. Combo into the underturn, which flows right into our I. Downstroke, tight turn out of that I into that subtle compound curve into the N. Then we do our combo curve, over, under, out, and then into our looping E. Keep that E nice and wide open, nice loop on there, and dot the I. All right. Looking good. That one's looking good as well. I'm liking the spacing here. We're doing longer words now. We can really see all the spacing opportunities we have, you know, to make mistakes or to make quality spacing, consistent spacing. And these are looking pretty good. You know, the space between the I and the N is probably a little bit bigger than the others, but you're always going to have that when you're having this compound connection. That compound curve connection is usually going to be a little longer than the straight undercurve, underturn, or overturn connection. And, you know, just checking my height or my space or my sizing on this, and I can see everything's hitting that bottom line very well. Everything's hitting that X height very well too. Always check for that. Especially if you're working on paper that doesn't have these dotted lines. If you're working on regular notebook paper and you're not writing all the way up to your line, you're writing maybe halfway in the space, you might want to get a ruler out and draw those lines in. All right, let's do a word with the V and the X. Vex. Overturn into that V, then into that steeper ending. Then from the top, we'll transition into our E, and then we'll go into our X and throw a cross on it. All right, give that one some practice. Practice this connecting from the top into that E. It can be a little tricky, easy to close the loop on that E instead of leaving it open, leaving that white space in there. We want to have that in there so we can identify that E as an E. All right, let's do xenon, one of the noble gases, if I'm not mistaken. Overturn into the combo, to the underturn, right into our E. And at this point, I'm going to move the paper a little bit because it's getting a little bit out of my writing zone. That'll happen when you're writing. You'll do a few letters, and you either have to move your hand to the right, which is okay, but you don't want to move it too far, or you can just shift the paper to the left a little bit. That'll get the word, the paper back into your writing zone where you can keep writing, okay? Continue on with my N, overturn into that combo, into that subtle compound curve connection into the O. Then from the top, we're going to exit out of the O, another subtle compound connection into the N, and finish the word. And don't forget to cross that X. All right, this is looking pretty good. I think one thing that's really easy to mess up here is the spacing between the X and the E. You can see this is very tight compared to the spacing here between the E and the N, or even the N and the O, and the O and the N. So this was the tightest spacing we had right here. So you might want to practice. If you're having that problem like I did right there, I would just say, all right, let me just focus on getting a real good space between my E and my X and my E. And the one reason you might be not leaving enough space there is because you're not visualizing that X, that cross on the X being there. So it's easy just to do this and then go into the E and forget, oh, I got to put this cross there. And after I put the cross there, these letters are going to be right on top of each other. So just remember when you're making your X, just almost visualize that cross being there already. And then you know, all right, I need to space it out from about this point to there, not from here to there. All right. All right, that's that group of letters. Give it some practice.